welcome into your practice. Today is going to be a quick stretch break all about creativity and fostering creativity. For many of us, there's a little bit of a tendency, and it's not our fault, to get stuck in that productive, very linear, trying to accomplish things in a particular way to get to an endpoint mindset. And creativity really requires us to be open to possibility, to be open to the unexpected, to things that might not be on that linear path, and really uses the whole brain. And that's one of the gifts of getting into more embodied movement, but also of mindfulness meditation, is it helps us tap into our creative abilities. And that's what we're going to do in today's short practice. So we are going to use a chair, and we're going to begin by bringing both feet flat on the ground and sliding forward just a bit so that your spine can be upright. You're not slouching in your chair. Take a moment to just feel your feet either in your shoes, your socks, or directly on the floor, and let your arms release alongside you. Close your eyes for just a moment, feeling the body breathing. We're going to welcome in a very simple mantra throughout this short practice today, and it sounds like this. Creativity moves through me when I let it go and let it flow. Creativity moves through me when I let go and let flow. Let's start to open the eyes. Let's start letting go and letting flow as we inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, let the arms float down. And I'm offering up movements and suggestions today. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. We're going to do this 2 more times. But I really want you to allow this to take a sort of creative tone or flavor to it. So if you want to kind of stretch or move in a slightly different way, let that happen. Float down. We're going to move into some half salutations. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see these a little bit more clearly. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, let the body ripple down and fold over the legs. Inhale, you lift up about halfway, rippling through the spine. Exhale, you round and let it fall back down. Inhale, rising back up. Exhale, hands float down through the middle of the body. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, let the arms float out and up. Let it be really watery, really flowy, folding over the legs. Inhale, like you're letting your own creative instincts on how to move, fold, move through the body. Inhale, rising up. Hands to heart center. I'm going to turn to face forward 1 more time for this last round. Arms out and up. Folding forward. Let it really be your movement, creatively moving how it feels good to you, folding over the legs, sweeping the arms out and up. It doesn't have to look like my movement. This is your movement. Hands come down the middle of the body. Take your hands, gently interlacing them behind your right thigh. Lift your right leg up and then just start to draw some circles and kind of moving through the knee joint here. You can think of drawing circles like a spirograph. If you ever had one of those as a child with your toe, maybe add in some ankle circles here. Notice if the spine is starting to get slouchy or rounded. Try to keep it up and alert. Move the other direction. This is also great for core awareness. You might be feeling some heat in the low back. And then take that right ankle, cross it over the left knee. Now, if this feels a little bit too tight, there's not enough space, slide your left foot forward. Let it be a little bit bigger of a shape for your body. Take your left hand and just drape your left forearm over your right shin. And then take a very mild twist here, turning your torso to the right. Turning your gaze up towards the ceiling. Sometimes when we are kind of given a problem to solve, our instinct is to become very rigid in our thinking. And yet often the most creative solutions arise when we actually allow the mind to approach something from a more spacious point of view. Let's look forward, coming out of that twist, and give yourself a moment, almost like we did in that half salutation, of just kind of rounding forward. So you could just let the arms drop. If you need the support of the forearms on the shin, you could do that. Let it be really heavy in the upper body, so you're kind of dropping into that hip stretch here. Beautifully done. Start to round your spine, lifting up, and just lower that right foot down. We're going to do that little sequence on the second side. So you're going to interlace the hands behind the left thigh, lift it up, and just kind of roll through the knee, adding in those ankle circles if you like. You can see here I'm trying to keep my spine really elevated, move in the other direction. And so sometimes doing these somatic or physical body-based practices, take your left ankle over your right knee. Again, give yourself more space if the hip's feeling quite tight. Right forearm over the left shin and entering into that soft twist. Getting into the body, moving in a way that's intuitive, instinctual, not overthinking it, can be a kind of side door in order to access that more fluid and spacious creative thinking. Coming out of the twist, let the torso kind of droop forward, folding into that hip stretch. Let the head be heavy for a moment, just a couple breaths here. And then rounding yourself up and unwrapping that left leg. We're going to take the legs quite wide, okay? So we're going to come into what is like a seated warrior two. It's a very strong stance. I'm going to take my right foot kind of out to the side, and then I'm going to start to extend my left leg, and it may just be partially. You can see my left knee is still bent here, or you might be able to kind of more fully straighten that left leg. My right hip is still really grounded on the chair. Take the arms up, and we're not going to let this be too stiff. We're going to, again, welcome in that more fluid kind of movement as we rock back, and then we rock forward, forearm to thigh and overhead. And we're just going to sort of glide from side to side. We're going to move like this for about another 20 seconds or so, just letting the body ripple back and forward. Creativity moving through you when you let it go and you let it flow. And forward, do one more each direction. Back and forward. And then we're going to come into a sort of seated squat position by bending that left knee, bringing yourself back in so knees are still wide, feet turned out about 45 degrees. And then again, that kind of like, folding forward. You might need to come up onto fingertips, or you might need to keep the forearms resting on the inner knees here, depending on how far you can comfortably fold. And then maybe just let the body sway a little bit from side to side. This can feel really delicious in the low back. I'm even kind of letting my fingertips sweep across the carpet. And then I'm finding my way into center. I'm going to pause for just a moment, lifting up halfway as I bring my forearms onto my thighs. And then I'm just going to pop up onto my balls of my feet for a moment. If I was feeling a little bit frisky, maybe you could bring your hands down to the ankles, lengthen your spine, pull forward, and then maybe use your hands to press up, lower the heels. We're going to switch that flow to the second side. So my left knee is kind of already in position, and my right leg is going to kind of slide back. It may just be a few inches, or it might be a more fully straightened position. And then you start that creative flowing back and forth through the torso. I love nature imagery, so sometimes I envision like seaweed underneath the water. That's kind of just, it has roots, it's anchored, which is what your legs and your feet are, but there's this incredible graciousness in the body as it moves through the water. And sometimes that's how our creativity is. It's anchored in, whatever problem we're solving or whatever we're coming up with, and yet it's really out of the box a lot of the time as well. And then coming back to center, last time here, we find that wide sort of squat position. Let the body kind of fall forward. And if it feels good to keep that kind of swaying, seaweed-like movement, do that. Beautiful breath.
Open, spacious mind, welcoming in that creative potential that's in each one of us. Coming to center, walk the hands halfway up, pop up onto the balls of the feet. Options to bring the hands down to the ankles, or if you're feeling a little bit deeper here, I call this like a chair spider position. Take 1 or 2 more breaths. It's a beautiful deep stretch for the low back, the inner thighs, through the pelvis. And then softening the heels back down. Use your hands to walk back up. We'll close our practice with just about a minute of stillness. So walking those feet back underneath you, bringing your hands onto the lap or the thighs, maybe closing your eyes. Reminding yourself of that mantra that creativity moves through me when I let it go and let it flow. So creativity isn't something we need to cling to or strive for. It's in us already. Creativity moves through me when I let it go and let it flow. Taking one more unrushed breath here. And then as you're ready, blinking open the eyes, welcoming yourself back into your surroundings. Thank you so much for a beautiful practice together. I hope you're feeling a little bit more inspired to embrace the creativity that is innate in you. It's already there. You just have to let it go and let it flow. Thank you so much.